No better way to celebrate a midweek than a great deal. Had a little snag with our outstanding offers. She was kind of stalling a little bit. A senior director of product, that's gonna be a big deal. I do not want to repeat the same mistake. Welcome back to another week in the life video of what I do every single day as a recruiter in the technology industry. We got a lot of things planned right now. My schedule is packed with candidate calls, brand new client onboarding, and possible offers that are nearing the final stages that I am doing my best to kind of zero in and focus. But as you saw from last week, it was a slow week due to holidays, rightfully so, but everyone is coming back to work. Companies are gearing up their budgets and hiring aggressively, and ultimately that is keeping us extremely busy. So if you are as excited as I am, you want to kick off May on a really positive note, please consider like, subscribe, click that bell. Really means a lot. And again, it'll give us all the energy, the mental fortitude to power through whatever crazy and challenging situations that we will face this week, but we will overcome it all together. Make sure that you watch till the end for other exciting announcements. But other than that, excited to get the day started, and let's get started. All right, so first bit of good news. Do you remember, if you saw from last week's video, that we were talking to an engineer and I was really just kind of coaching her on how to handle negotiations really well? Well, that same candidate had negotiations yesterday on Monday, and it seemed to have gone really well, to the point that offer and terms actually came out, which is fantastic. The initial offer was 140, and I know when I spoke with my candidate on Friday, she initially really wanted at least 150. She directly pushed back and responded herself that they wanted 150. They said that they'll mull it over and get back to her by end of day. I heard first thing this morning that they actually came back with a 150K salary plus a 10K signing bonus, which is amazing. I then followed up with her to see how she felt, and the candidate was super excited, but she's also possibly waiting for another offer from another one of our clients. I think she right now has decided to just wait a day or two just to see if another offer comes out, to see what those terms are. I'm not sure exactly why she's waiting, because she made it very clear that the client that she got an offer with yesterday, she ranked them number one in terms of all of our interests. She loves the culture, she loves the people. So I think she might be just curious to see if another higher offer might come. I frankly would prefer her to go with my first offer, because I think they're a better fit in terms of culture and people and what she's looking for. But I have to respect by her decision. If she wants to wait a little bit, she has to wait. But I hate waiting, because the longer that you wait, the more time that goes by, the more something else can happen that can just be a wrench or be an obstacle. So I'm gonna do my best to stay on top of this situation and just gently kind of navigate it, and hoping that she can just make the decision, accept, get it over with, and we'll see what happens. But I'm feeling pretty good about this. That would be an amazing deal to navigate and to kick off this week with. So let's see what else will happen. All right, so it's now Tuesday at 5 p.m. We had about 3 interviews. One of them a possible final round with a recruiter that's in process with one of our education tech companies. She is very excited, but I just spoke with her a couple minutes ago. She has a couple other processes going on right now, but she still ranks my client near the top, if not the top. So I'm happy about that. My client has really kind of fast, straightforward process. They're only looking at 2, maybe 3 rounds, hoping the chat with the founder and CEO goes well. It's happening right now. And if that goes well, hoping we can kind of come out with really strong offer terms. Now, I do not want to repeat the same mistake with my same education company that happened with a previous recruiter, that it went by so fast that the candidate's like, I want to talk to other members of the team because I only spoke with the CEO and COO. I want to talk to other members at different levels to get a better context, or better just understanding of the environment, the culture of other people that are just not part of the top leadership. And so I am aware that this could happen again. So I'm going to, every touch point, connect back with my candidate just to see how she's feeling. And if she's really bullish, really excited, we may just kind of go in for the close. And I would recommend my client to move forward on an offer, considering because she's also talking to other companies as well. But if she's like uncertain and she's like, you know what, it would be nice to maybe talk to other members of the team, then I will also try to do my best to set that up as well. Now, to prevent moving forward from any negative time or slow time from happening, I will also ask my candidate to prepare in advance some references. If she can send it over to me, we can have those ready so that if my client wants to move forward, we don't have to waste time in following with my candidate. We can just send it to her ASAP. And this is just another small example of what you can do so that the process moves smoothly instead of having any just waiting and stalling time, because that is super dangerous for the chance of an offer happening or a candidate reaching the final, because the longer it happens, the candidate's interest can wane, they can get offers, they can start new process with other companies, and it will just become a lot more complicated of a situation that you ideally don't want, especially if you're a recruiter like me who's navigating this position, navigating my candidate, or if you're my client who wants to make sure that the person that they're talking to is not distracted with 20 other interviews and that they're really focused on their opportunity and maybe one or two others, and they can really put the best foot forward. So I'm also feeling quite good about this too, but we have 2 more in process, plan B and a plan C, just in case this doesn't work out. But all around, really, really good. Moving ahead, I'm gonna touch base with our head of product candidate at our Aviation Tech in about 10 minutes, just to kind of really make sure we're on the same page in terms of the senior product manager role that we're working. We have another Zoom call with my education client tomorrow, picking up a senior director of product role. We're also syncing up with another one of our clients for another product manager role, and then possibly with our favorite clean energy tech company on Friday to pick up other engineering roles. So we're picking up a lot of brand new engineering roles this week. Definitely gonna have my work cut out for me, but it's been just a non-stop day. Had talked to about 15 people today, talked to about another 16 candidates yesterday. Fantastic people, submitted most of them, and the pipeline so far is looking really, really healthy, but really happy that despite everything, we got promising deals that are slowly materializing, but we also have new businesses coming in to make sure that we're always hitting a good rhythm, a good cadence of bringing in new business, opening up new positions, and closing, so that when we do close and do offers, we always have work to do, and we're always staying busy so that we can keep working hard and keep this momentum going this year. So I've been having people reach out to me saying that I should charge a higher percentage, I need to switch to exclusivity or retained. I hear you, but that's not my immediate priority from day one. Like, I have no problem, honestly, starting on contingency. Why? Because I'm not that fixated on competitors or competing against other agencies. With me and myself and my brain and how I operate, I would always assume that whoever I'm working with in terms of a client, they're always using other tools and other agencies to fill that role. Like, if I was a company looking to fill and scale up my team, I would use and maximize as many tools as possible. Thinking about how many other competitors I'm working against to fill this talent honestly does me no good, but it's not new information. I just operate assuming that I'm competing against someone else, which really kind of gives me a heightened sense of motivation to work hard, to go as fast as possible, and most importantly, to really just concentrate on the results. I don't focus on what other people are doing, I just focus on myself. And I know that if I can just focus on providing results over and over and over again, I will eventually develop a really strong relationship with the company. And if that happens, I can then renegotiate other opportunities of maybe upping my percentage, going on retained, going on a hybrid retained, or maybe even exclusivity. And that's how I love to approach things, and not so much, approaching a brand new client saying, hey, like, this is me, we know what we're doing, we're big shots, give me retained, give me exclusivity. Like, I love proving myself to new relationships, to current relationships, that if you're new, this is what I'm delivering, and they're like, wow, I'm impressed, I love your candidates, let's do a couple deals together, let's establish a history and track record, and then anything is a possibility. And so a lot of the retained I have right now, a lot of the really good partnerships I have right now, I started off contingency, I started off even a low percentage, and over time we would bring that up as they understand like the value that we're bringing, especially after like them trying a couple other agencies and then realizing that we just do our best to do whatever we can to just provide consistent results. So I would encourage you that when you're starting out, when you're working for yourself, don't unnecessarily close the door or shoot yourself in the foot. Like, don't just go for like a 30% or 40% fee, which is absolutely ridiculous. Don't go for exclusivity or retained, because that can actually make things a lot harder for you to get your first book of clients. I think if you have really strong clients right now and you have a lot of inbound clients, that's definitely something you can kind of experiment with. But like for me, I would rather just show what I can do, and from there, then leverage that to a better relationship that would, maybe mean a higher commission, more money for us, or more stability retained, than just going after cold companies and just asking for retained and exclusivity. Like, you can do that. A lot of people do that. I just, rather would like to have a relationship before I run with the clients. I'd rather walk with them. We'll feel each other out through contingency, just as it is for clients to gauge recruiting partners as whether or not we're the right partners. We can also use that as a right opportunity to gauge the clients, the companies companies if they're appropriate partners. I think just as much as opportunities companies have in terms of picking from the litter in terms of which recruiting agencies to work with, we also have the power and we also have the opportunity to choose and pick whichever company we want to work with. And if they respect you and they pay you well, they communicate with you well, that deserves to be a really great foundation for long-term relationships. But if they're continually trying to nickel and dime you, give you drama, they're unresponsive, like why waste your time? Find better companies. And so for us, we just like to focus on ourselves, keep our heads down, provide the best result as fast as possible over and over and over again. And then from there, the world can open up in terms of more opportunities that you can consider. But in the beginning, I just like to keep it simple, get in at a pretty good market competitive percentage contingency wise. And then from there, depending on how the relationship goes, if it's mutual, then yeah, let's take it to the moon and let's increase the percentage. Let's get on retained or a hybrid retained or an exclusive agreement, and let's run with that. So hope that helps. And this is, another reason why, like, I'm okay not having to ask for all these things. I don't like to overcomplicate things. I don't like to come off super strong and demanding the world with new clients. I just love to find the right partner and grow with them over the long term and develop a strong relationship. That to me is more fulfilling than just trying to get a quick buck from one or two positions with a brand new client, and that's it. We never talk or work with them ever again. So I'm all about long-term relationships because ultimately that's what creates new businesses. That's what creates referrals, and they're just snowballing to just amazing success and results. All right, so just had a really good sync with the head of product at my aviation tech company, and the purpose of the sync is because we're doing our best to kind of work a director, senior director role, and we've just been going back and forth, been sending him a good number of candidates, and nothing's really sticking. And I'm always trying to get a hold of him to understand exactly what he's looking for, if his preferences has changed. And throughout the weeks, I've been texting him, WhatsApping him, emailing him. He hasn't been getting back to me, and when he has, it's been like on and off and not really answering a lot of my questions. And so we kind of went through everything, and he reiterated he wants someone with web app experience, someone A/B testing, experimentation background, product requirements background, and we also had all that. And then he did say that even though they're calling it a director, they want someone to be hands-on. So for my recommendation, I told them we should target, current senior lead, maybe principal or staff PMs, someone who's happy to be hands-on, but who wants that next level of leadership. What I took away from that call is that they still very much want to target that, maybe less senior product manager, as they've realized internally that might be a little bit too senior, but they also want us to target current kind of associate director and target product managers. And then I told them most of these director guys don't want to be hands-on. And he's like, yeah, well, we have to, if we can find a director, an associate director that doesn't want to be hands-on, that's ideal. Makes our job difficult because there's no way for us to deduce that from looking at a resume or someone's profile that they're willing to be hands-on or hands-off, which means it's more work for us to having to kind of go out, reach out, talk to people, and then ask while we're engaging with them or qualifying them. So it's more work, but it's still a really great client that we like to work with. He made time and he really clarified a lot of different aspects, which I really appreciated. But most importantly, I think this is a position that we can get done pretty fast. And it's a sizable one. It's a director, senior director. I think he can go well over 200 to 230. So this could be a sizable offer placement fee. So it still makes sense to do whatever we can to find this person, but it's just been a little bit frustrating in the past trying to get hold of my client. He's been interviewing for other positions, and then he's been giving me responses with no feedback, and it just doesn't help me to improve or further target my searching and my criterias. And so by being able to actually finally talk to him now, I'm able to kind of go inside his brain, get a better understanding of what he's looking for. And then from there, we can kind of reverse kind of engineer the ideal profile. I didn't really learn that much more new things, but he did reinforce newfound commitments to getting back to me. I think they've made a number of hires, so he has a lot more time to get back to me, be more responsive. And that, he was able to kind of provide a couple more new guidance pointers on this profile, so that hopefully we can find someone as soon as possible. So we'll see what happens. I think it's all around a good note. My final round interview for my recruiter candidate's happening right now. I honestly hope that goes really well and get this done. All right, great news. Just heard back from my educational client that the interview went really well with my recruiting candidate, and they want to move forward to references, which is freaking amazing. So I'm going to call my candidate right now, have the references sent to my client as soon as possible, and hoping that they fly through them. There should be hopefully no surprises to a successful offer round. So we'll see what happens. Good news on a Tuesday. Just been sourcing engineers and products all day, and now I'm tired. Time for dinner. Time to take it easy. See you tomorrow. Happy Wednesday, and guess what? Just got some massive news. Got an email from my candidate. I've been eagerly, nail-bitingly waiting for her decision. She ended up writing, "I accepted the offer with our client. Excited to start working at the end of May. Thanks for the help, Preston." Let's go! As I said yesterday, she was kind of stalling a little bit because she was nearing final rounds with another company, also another one of our clients, and they didn't end up moving forward to an offer, which actually surprised her a lot, maybe a little disappointing. But at the same time, when that happened, it just focused her excitement on the original offer. She was excited. It hit everything that she was able to do because she negotiated really well by herself, and she accepted. Signed, sealed, delivered, starting end of May. No better way to celebrate a midweek than a great deal, nonetheless, with a software engineering placement, because engineers are super competitive. Everyone's going after engineers these days. So I'm just very grateful. It's a wonderful blessing just that we were able to, help out an engineer, an amazing engineer at that, and excited to see her kind of join my client soon in a month's time to do some awesome work and just absolutely crush it. So really happy about that. Been spending my entire day focused on marketing and engineers. We have 2 interviews later today. I have a Zoom call a couple hours from now with my educational client. They want me to pick up a couple senior director of product roles, which hopefully is going to be great. Just like the recruiter position, they do not offer bonus or equity, so it's going to be very challenging for them to attract the right people, let alone being competitive. So we have to really make sure that what they're looking for, what we can find, and what the market is dictating in terms of the comp is aligned, because our first experience is working with them to find this recruiter position. Like, we have to turn away a lot of people because either people just want equity and my client can't offer it, or if they don't offer equity, they would expect a much higher salary, well beyond the range that my client's working with. So out of like 10 people we talk to, we can probably only send them like 2 or 3, which is not the best, but at least it's still 2 to 3 people. But speaking of recruiters, we are still waiting for my recruiting candidate to send references over, hoping that that can be done a little bit later today, and hoping that my client can go through it as fast as possible. And this could potentially be maybe another solid deal this week. It's always great to do one deal. It's amazing to do more than one deal per week. And because of that, now just kind of making and shifting my focus to make sure that we can kind of navigate this to get this done. So 1 week, really happy about that. It's going to be an awesome deal. The starting salary is $150,000, so it's a pretty great placement fee for us. So I'm a little bit behind. Got to stop talking. Keep working. Oh my God. So just got off the phone with our education tech client, and they're hiring a senior director of product. That's going to be a big deal. They can pay up to $250,000. Which is huge. We'll be targeting everything from kind of a senior lead PMs to head of product, but got to make sure that the title is appropriate, because if you're head of product at Amazon, that means something completely different than head of product at a Series A or a Series B startup, right? So they really want a player coach, someone that still has to be happy to be hands-on. They're happy to talk to folks with director, senior director, head of product roles, but just has to make sense. And if all the candidate wants to do is just be hands-off and sit on their leadership throne and not do anything hands-on, that's not going to be a good fit for them. So this is a really critical role, directly reporting to the founders. It could be a huge role for us, and so I'm super pumped to pick this up and try to get this started. We have a couple director, lead, head of product roles right now. So yeah, looking forward to getting it started. Let's make it happen. All right, all is not lost. I heard back from my candidate that we are eagerly waiting for references. It's almost like 6 p.m. here on a Wednesday. Haven't heard from her the entire day, so we're getting a little bit concerned, but she told me that she's still doing her best to kind of get in touch with the references. They're really busy. She just want to make sure that she gives us an official thumbs up for my client to reach out to them. Hopefully we can move forward. She has one other question or a couple other questions regarding benefits. I'm hoping that we can connect her directly with the client. They can run through and break everything down with her, and hoping that, she'll just feel really well understood about everything and just clear about every single thing. Salary is still something that I still need to revisit with her, but we're not at an offer yet. We just have to kind of get our client through the references as fast as possible, hoping they want to move to an offer, and then we can kind of dive in and have that discussion. But from my initial conversation, the past couple ones, initially she was looking for 140 because she's interviewing with other companies, and because my client does not offer bonus or equity, she's probably going to look closer to 150. I'm going to try to get her something a little bit higher than that and ask them to be 160, maybe 155, so that if for any reason the client can't do it, we're well within the ballpark of striking and kind of being in the ideal range for my candidate, which is great because we are at a situation where she's not actively interviewing with a lot of other companies and not in deep stages. So she's really kind of focused, really excited about my client. And if we do move forward and offer, I just want to stop wasting any time with all the back and forth and just come out with the strong offer with the best foot forward to minimize the back and forth negotiation. So we'll see what happens, but I'm really happy. I feel a lot more relieved to hear back from my candidate that all is still good and she's still working on her references as fast as possible. Happy Thursday. Just had a wonderful Zoom call with a current client of ours. We are going head over heels and doing our best to fill multiple software engineering roles with them. They pinged me late last week asking me to hop on a Zoom call to talk about new product positions, which I love. Love digging in deeper with current clients and helping with different departments. Had a chat with one of their internal recruiters, picked up the product manager role. They are honestly like looking for really anybody. Like they're just totally flexible. So whether you have a B2B background, B2C or B2B2C, at least kind of 4+ years of experience, all the way to maybe like 8, 9, or 10, hands-on, senior product software manager, ideally hybrid out of their office, and they can pay so high, from like $2 to $250 for the right person. So basically they're willing to talk to anyone and everyone. So I immediately created some targeting lists in our database that we'll reach out to immediately. Once we kind of go through them, we will start kind of keeping an eye out with current searches. Anyone who matches what my client's looking for with people coming in, we will of course pitch them. And then we will also start new searches for them probably later today or tomorrow. But I love adding on more positions. And even though it's another position, it's not that too different from a lot of the other product manager positions we have going on. So again, it's not about working more, it's just working smart. We have another fantastic product position to now pitch our amazing candidates, ultimately trying to maximize the probability of placing an amazing person and being able to provide more options to great people that we talk to. So I think it's a really fantastic company, really great sell. They can pay very competitive, which I love, even though it's hybrid in New York, but they're kind of balancing that with an amazing salary, fantastic culture, ability to grow a ton and work directly with their VP. So for the right person, it's going to be a pretty sick opportunity and can't wait to help spread the word. Let's keep going. Happy Friday morning. It is the end of the week, but still have a full day planned and had a little snag with our outstanding offer. So I got a text last night about my candidate who is going through references, and she was able to sync up with a member of the team about benefits, and she found out that the benefits at my current client is a lot lower compared to the job that she has right now, which was a little bit disappointing. And it's a slight little red flag. But with that said, she did reinforce that she was still very, very excited and interested to continue to move forward. And she would have to maybe revisit or readjust her salary ask and maybe ask for something higher. As the company doesn't cover the insurance completely, she has to pay some percentage out of pocket. So she's just worried that like if she starts with a salary and a portion of that goes to insurance, and then every time she gets a salary increase, a lot of that will just be eating up the insurance. She's like, maybe it might make sense to ask for more salary to compensate for that. So she can still have enough to pay for insurance, but still feel like she's going a step forward in her career and in her kind of compensation that she's bringing home. So totally justifiable. I'm actually going to talk with her a little bit later today and hope to see if everything will be okay. I have about 8 calls today with candidates. I have syncing up with another client, clean energy client that we worked with last year. I think when we first synced up with them, they raised a massive like $20 million Series A round. I think they just raised another $50 million, and they're looking to hire like another 100 people across all departments. And they really, really need help with hard to fill technical engineering roles. And this is more in like the hardware mechanical side. Again, things that I don't really specialize in, but because like they are such an amazing client, they keep coming back to us for business. Like we will of course like allocate some time and do our best to help out with these positions. So like when you work on positions that you're not specialized in, you really, really, really need to understand it really well. Like what are the must-have skills, the backgrounds, what exactly is the hiring manager looking for? What are the key qualifying questions to ask? you have to, and then beyond that, just do a lot of research in the evenings and on the weekends to like learn as much as you can about that role as fast as possible, because you want to be able to come off, again, credible and, believable to the candidates that you speak with, because if you don't, they're just not going to believe in you. And then if they don't believe in you, they're not going to want to work with you, because you're just going to come off as someone who doesn't know what he's talking about. So I'm always worried doing this, but because like it's a really, really good client of ours and they keep coming back to us, we will of course do our best. We did a little bit of this last year and I think we lucked out big time. We were able to hire like 2 to 3 engineers, which were amazing. Not sure if it could happen again, but we'll honestly give it a try. But this week so far has been amazing. Like, picked up a new role on Monday, picked up a new role yesterday, picking up a new role today. And so whoever said that recession's coming, companies are slowing down hire, like, it is not happening. In fact, the opposite's happening coming into May, coming into June, coming into the summer. So gonna make it my best day here. I need to get in touch with my candidate again, just to kind of smooth things over, see if there's anything that we can help with. But most importantly, my priority is gonna understand like what will her salary ask be now because of her new information that she discovered regarding the benefits. So gonna figure that out, but gonna try to do as many calls as possible. Gonna be focused on sourcing software engineers today, as we have a ridiculous amount of clients looking for software engineers of all kinds. So if you're watching this and you're a recruiter in that market, or you might know of anyone in your network who's a great software engineer, we're always willing to talk to folks that are New York City based or open to full remote, either front end, full stack, back end, JavaScript stack, or any kind of modern server side back end languages, Python, Java, Ruby, etc. So we're always happy to do a referral, kind of finder's fee. We're also happy to always partner up with other recruiters out there who are always like putting in that good work. So let's see what we can do. All right, so there's one thing that I want to address. So for every like 9 amazing positive comments that I get for people like yourself reaching out, it really means the world. I think for me, my biggest inspiration is just to be as transparent as possible what recruiting professionals do behind the scenes. It's a gigantic industry, multi-billion dollars, that employs hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people around the world, and it's growing year over year. But with that, you also have a lot of people that are just not doing recruiting in the best way possible. And because of that, it can burn a lot of people's experience. It's the whole reason why every time I reach out or talk to new companies, I find out that they've been burned by recruiters in the past. Or when I find out, when we reach out to candidates, every now and then we get responses like, I never want to work with recruiters again. Like, why does this happen? And so, well, for every profession out there, there are people who are doing their best to do things right, to really make strong relationships, not taking any shortcuts, and just doing things in the proper way possible. But then you get a lot of people who enter the industry with no experience, or who just want to do the fastest shortcut possible for a quick buck. And a particular comment that we got recently is like, oh, recruiters, all they do is they just like flip people and they move on and they don't care about relationships and things like that. And I understand how that person can have that opinion, because I was honestly like, when I first learned how to recruit properly at my job, like I was taught like that, and many agencies operate like that, and many recruiters still operate like that. And what I mean by flip recruiters, like that's such a kind of a unpersonal word. Like flipping to me, it's kind of like, you go to a garage sale, you find an item and then you flip it for a higher margin, or you buy something like a house or a car, and then if you buy it, you sell it, you don't care about it anymore. And you're kind of implying that same thing happens with what we do, and we the talent that we work with, the candidates that we work with, that happen to be human beings. So I think with everything that you do, you always have the choice of doing things that the easiest route that takes like the least amount of effort, and then the hardest route where you can always take the high route. You always do things right. You don't take shortcuts. It's all about relationships, and it's honestly your choice, and you can still make money either way. But I think if you do things properly, you slow down a little bit, you focus more on relationships, I think those people, those businesses are going to have a bigger probability of surviving and having a stronger, sustainable business long term. If all you do is just like flip people, you talk to people, you send them jobs, you never talk to them ever again, like you can do that. And I think a lot of majority, probably agencies do that. And there's nothing, I guess, wrong with that. But I think ask yourself, if you're in this industry, like what are you doing differently? Like we're at the end of the day, a relationship business. Like what are you doing differently to stand out? Are you meeting candidates or clients face to face? Or are you just kind of staying remote and just, not interfacing with anybody? Or are you offering a different service, a different value proposition? Like, are you spending more time time when you talk to people? Are you taking time to stay with them and check in with them throughout the process? Like, what are you doing to build that relationship, to make yourself memorable so that, if you do find someone their dream job, that they still want to work with you, they still have a relationship with you moving forward. And so again, this is something I don't have all the answers to. I'm still working on this, but like, I do get a lot of negative comments sometimes. And again, I totally get what they're coming from. I totally empathize. If I went through as a candidate what they went through, I would totally have been burned and not trust any recruiter. But now being in this profession for like 7-8+ years, like I want to do my best to be transparent as possible and just with you all collaboratively work and help elevate recruiting as a profession. And we can always do better, like any profession can. We get paid to meet people, to develop relationships, and then to work on, really high profile, really critical positions with sometimes like really important companies or really important founders. Like everything is important. So if you're in recruiting, you're just thinking about recruiting, ask yourself, like, what am I doing to make myself memorable or developing really strong relationships? And am I just kind of running and gunning and doing things as kind of fast as possible with minimal effort or care, or taking as many shortcuts as possible so that I can get paid the most short term, and then I have the chance of like maybe burning or giving people the wrong impression, or burning or offending them or making them angry or disappointing them, and I'm okay with that. Like, to me, like that's not worth it. Like, if the longer I do this business, the more I want to do things correctly and build like a really strong foundation and practice where hopefully, people work with us, whether or not they get a job, whether or not they hire, they still have a positive experience. And so just kind of a little like Friday rant for you all. I think we're a very people-oriented business. We talk to hundreds of people every single month. And yes, not everyone will have a positive experience, but the more you're willing to put the effort in to try to give everyone as positive an experience as possible, but also to be personable, to establish that connection, I think the better that you'll do over the long term. Again, this is my only personal opinion, but there's so many people out there over the years that I met who never want to talk to recruiters again. And I think that has to change. If not, there'll just be more and more people that are being burned by the industry. And I think as an industry, we can always do better. Hope, that this helps, but I got to get back to work. Let's make a good Friday. All right, so just got the phone with my candidate, was able to sync up with her, the one that's my client's going through the references with. After understanding more about my client's benefits package, she was just very candid with me in sharing that my client's benefits package is actually not that great, but with the caveat that they are actively going to try to improve a lot of it, but they just can't do it now. They have to wait until the next open enrollment season for them to actually change that. And she gets that, but she's still positive. She's still engaged, which is great. And then I focused the conversation on salary. Like in the beginning, she won at least 140, 150, but now considering everything and how so much of the money that she gets from her salary has to go into paying for her own insurance, she's gonna at least now has to ask for at least like 160, right? Which I know for my client, that's definitely doable. And then I told her like, hey, like just go for the moon. Like if 160 is like your minimum now, go for 165, maybe go for 170 just to give yourself an extra cushion so that even despite after taking a lot of the money for the salary, she can still feel like she's making a lot more from her current job, feeling like her career is excelling and moving forward. And so she actually has a plan to talk to my client a little bit later today. And I just told her, just be honest. When it comes to negotiating, be honest, but back up your ask with facts and logic. So if she's asking for 160, at least 160 now, she has to obviously break down the numbers and explain why. But then, after that, it's really up to her how much more she wants to ask for and see what my client is willing to do. I do know my client is very bullish on her. They're very excited about her. So I think if she's able to ask for 165, 170, even just seeing where they're able to fall with previous candidates, I think that's doable. I think even though there was a small little hiccup or red flag with the insurance here, I think this is definitely a placement that's still possible and still savable. So I'm not getting my hopes up again, as always, but doing whatever I can to make sure the candidate feels good, to make sure the client still feels engaged about my candidate, and just hoping to kind of push them together and that they can do whatever they can, air things out, and come to a positive resolution and relationship. And it's a win-win for everybody. So not going to really see how the conversation goes. It's past work hours today, but I asked the candidate to text and call me. But even if that went well, I don't think we'll be able to expect an offer today because the client still has to get the references. I think she connected with one already, still hasn't heard back from two others. So we have to kind of get through all the references first, assuming the conversation also with the candidate goes well today, for the client then to feel positive and confident enough to move forward to an offer. And so we're not there yet, but things are slowly kind of working its way up. And yeah, fingers crossed. Here's a quick thought. I've had a lot of people over the past couple of weeks, or even months, reach out to me every now and then asking me, what is the best and easiest market to work in recruiting? Here's the thing, there is no right or wrong answer. I think what would make it easier is your ability to, and your willingness to put in the effort to master that market. How do you master that market? Either you can leverage previous experiences. So if you work in finance, you know a lot about finance. If you were a designer before that, you want to work the creative market, that's the easiest. If you work in digital marketing, you can work in digital marketing because you know a lot about the industry. I think that's the best to leverage personal industry and experience. But if you are, for example, looking to go into the biotech space, the finance space, the tech space, the agricultural space, and you have no experience in that market, what do? You have to learn and immerse yourself in that market as much as possible. You want to surround yourself with as many professionals. You want to interact and collaborate and communicate. You want to research, you want to read books, watch videos, do whatever you can to be a sponge and absorb as much information as possible. It's easy technically as a recruiter to work any market, but what's going to determine your success and whether or not you can effectively find sustainable success long term is if you understand that market really, really well and then be laser focused on a specific niche so you don't work on every single position imaginable in an industry, because marketing industry is big, creative industry is big, tech industry is big. It's really your willingness to put in the work to learn specific types of roles really, really, really well, and then use whatever you can with the time on the side, off hours, mornings, evenings, weekends, to surround yourself with professionals, to network, and then just to absorb as much information as possible. So no industry is easier or more difficult than the other. It's how well do you know the industry? And the more you know the industry better, the easier it will be. So my biggest recommendation is, first of all, pick what market you want to work in, whatever market you are in right now. If you are working at a job, or you're thinking about working for yourself, or you're thinking about becoming a recruiter for yourself, my honest recommendation is to pick one market and then pick one or two specific roles in that market and learn everything that you can about it. And another helpful thing is think of yourself almost applying for a job in that market for those specific positions. Like whatever skills that people need to know, try to read books on that, maybe even take free courses on it. The more you understand and you have a better understanding of the skills and the background, the knowledge needed for your candidates, then the better you can communicate with them, the better you can communicate with clients, the better you can just come off credible, and it's a win-win, and then the better you are setting yourself up for success for a great business long-term, which is what I'm all about. It's not about a flash in the pan, short-term type of thing. So hope that helps. All right, it is Friday afternoon, and it's that time to thank you again for spending a few minutes of your day to watch. It's been a really, really great, productive week in my eyes. We had a successful software engineering offer, which is amazing. Initially, she won 140. She ended with 150K with a 10K sign-on bonus, bringing her entire cash comp to 160 for her first year, which is amazing. I'm really excited to see what she's going to do. We are doing whatever we can to also make this recruiting candidate offer happen, but unfortunately, if anything happens, it'll probably be pushed next week because my client still has to kind of go through all the references and then have to make sure that we can navigate all the concerns my candidate has about the benefits, because even though she's excited about the opportunity, the benefits of my client are worse than the benefits of my candidate's current company. So that's going to take a little adjusting. I think what would help in this case is to really fight for her salary to get it above that kind of sweet spot where, even though she feels like she's gonna have to take a step back for benefits, she feels like overall it's still a step forward in her career, and it's our job to really paint her that picture. Aside from that, really just spent the entire day today just sourcing product professionals, software engineering professionals. We picked up a lot of new software engineering and product roles. So if you happen to be working specifically in that market and you're a recruiter, please reach out. But we also have a lot of great digital marketing, UX, ops positions as well. So if you are a master in your network and in your market, please reach out either way. I love meeting you. I love networking. I love partnering, and just see how well we can do together. If you also might know of anyone in your network who needs help with hiring or is also looking for new roles and you're not a recruiter, we also do really great referral and finders fees as well. And ultimately, my heart is to really just help as many people as possible. Even if we may not be specialized in that market, we will do whatever we can to help. And I think kind of testament to that is we were able to do an offer last week with someone who introduced an amazing client with a real estate company here in local DC. And as a result, we were able to place a person successfully and now happy to do a referral finder's fee with that person. So whether you know someone who's hiring, you know someone who's looking for new roles, or you're current recruiters right now who need help filling their roles with great clients, or you might have a great network and have a strong inbound of candidates, please reach out. Always happy to see what we could do together. I'm all about helping and collaborating and just elevating recruiting together so everyone wins. Aside from that, it's been just a great productive week, doing my best to kind of finish strong. I think the biggest takeaway for myself, and just to remind you that if you're starting recruiting right now, or you've been doing it for a couple of years, it's let's do whatever we can. Make that extra effort to make that strong, to make that relationship stronger. Try to avoid the temptations of doing shortcuts and try to avoid moving too fast and not really caring about the people that you're working with. I believe at the end of the day, the recruiters that can continue doing this long term, either by themselves or building small teams, I think the success really comes from building strong relationships and building member relationships and doing whatever you can to provide unique value to whoever you work with. And whether or not someone gets a job through you, if they can at least walk away with a positive experience, I think that will help your business tenfold in the future, as they will happily refer you, talk about you to their network. Word of mouth marketing is very important, and don't underestimate it. So again, I have so many ways for myself to grow, but I'm sick and tired of people coming to me saying, oh, recruiters are horrible, we provide no value, and all we do is flip people and we don't care. I think that's an unfair statement to the rest of the industry. I think a lot of people practice recruiting like that, but a lot of people, including I, are making the effort every day to try to make recruiting better and try to do whatever we can a little bit better, even though I still myself have a lot more ways to grow. But it's been a good week so far. We had a win, tried to do another deal, but I think we might have to see for next week, but we have a lot of other exciting things moving forward. But if you, again, like this video, want to see more like it, please comment down below. Always love to hear from you. Please also don't forget to join our free Discord. It's just an amazing online free destination for other like-minded people. We can all cheer each other on, ask questions in a very cool, safe, non-judgmental space. If you, again, have found some entertainment or education or value from this, please like, subscribe, click that bell. It really means a lot. Gives us the energy to continue making these videos and doing our best, and most importantly, helps us to spread the word of recruiting on YouTube and show people like that recruiting can be one of the best career prospects out there. If not, it could be an awesome opportunity for you to develop a part-time skill, part-time income, or maybe even an opportunity for you to work for yourself if that's what you so choose. But I'm gonna still stay here for about a couple more hours, do a lot of sourcing, do a lot of repitching, picked up a lot of senior director roles, PM roles, and software engineering roles. So I want to really get through all my database, repitching folks that I think would be a good fit so that we can really start next week with great momentum. Already the first half of next week, my days are packed with calls with a lot of exciting, great candidates to meet and speak with. So my voice is getting shot, but thank you again for following for yet again another week. Really means a lot, and hope you guys had a great week. You crushed your goals and you're gonna recharge, and let's make May awesome. So thanks again, and we'll see you on the next one.